Hey everyone, Tom Butwin here for Premier Guitar. I'm doing a bit of a series as we near the end of 2025 in which we talk about some very exciting pedals from the year, and we've got a variety of things to get to today, but make sure you're subscribed to the Premier Guitar YouTube channel so you can catch the next iterations of this series, and maybe you'll find your next new favorite pedal. Today we're taking a look at the Keeley Manis Overdrive, the Mr. Black Stereo DoubleTracker, the Hotone Verbera convolution reverb pedal, and the NUX Amp Academy Stomp. From Keeley, we have the Manis Overdrive, and in a world of many clones of the mythical horse-related pedal, you know what I'm talking about, Keeley has taken this to a new level, so much so that while this does achieve that classic transparent overdrive sound that we love, I find it hard to even place it in that same category because of all of the very versatile customizations you can get out of this overdrive pedal. So, as always with these styles of pedals, very simple, straight ahead controls. You've got tone, drive, and level. They all do what you think they would do. You can switch this pedal between buffered bypass and true bypass, and you can run it on 9 or 18 volt power. Underneath the tone knob, we have a switch here, and you'll have an option for stock and then bass plus. Now in the bass plus mode, it's actually amping up your signal 3 decibels and it's adjusting the frequency response. So in simple terms, what that's doing is just thickening up your tone and fattening it up. I love it on a single coil pickup, which is really great. It's kind of just a life hack to get what I want out of single coil pickups that they naturally just don't have, is just a little bit more heft in the bottom end. And then of course, part of the secret magic to these style of pedals is the germanium diode. And you can switch from a germanium diode here in the downward position to a germanium transistor. And when you flip that switch up, you're gonna hear a definite difference in tone. It's a little more saturation and sustain that you can get out of this pedal than you normally would. So if you thought the limit of those 3-knob mythical overdrive pedals had been reached and all the clones had been cloned and made, think again, because Keeley Manis is sort of like the future version of this. It's got a ton of versatile customization options on it, all while retaining that classic, iconic overdrive sound that so many guitar players love. From Mr. Black Pedals, we have the DoubleTracker Stereo. Now this pedal does exist in a mono version as well, but the stereo version is where the real magic of this effect comes into play. As the name would indicate, what we are doing here is double tracking guitars. You know it, you love it. It's a common recording technique. It really can expand your mixes if you're panning things left and right and doubling your guitar parts or vocals or whatever the case may be. It really, really beefs up a recording and is a very cool effect. And it's tough to do if you're the only person playing guitar live though. So if you want that effect or a more simple way to control it rather than having to play everything twice, this pedal is great for that. And it is stereo. It's both stereo on the way in and on the way out. So knowing that, because most of us guitar players often live in a mono world with just a mono signal path, you can use it that way. Mono in, stereo out. You could even do mono in, mono out on this pedal. But I said, you know, for the purposes of this video, at some point I wanted to have dual paths for this, and I didn't really know where to begin on that, so this is where I have to shout out Sweetwater and my sales engineer there. I said, here's the problem I'm trying to solve, and they came up with a great solution. First, they sent over 2 SM57s for me to put on these Henriksen Bud 6 amplifiers that I'm using. They're great. They're very powerful, small amplifiers. But the key to this whole operation, to getting 2 signal paths to go into this pedal, is this Lele, which is a German company, so I hope I'm close in pronouncing this name correctly, splitter. And the P-split allows you to bring your guitar in. It's passive, so you don't have to have any phantom power or anything like that. You can avoid ground loops and ground hums. And this then splits your signal to go to 2 amplifiers. But in this case, we're taking those 2 signals at one point in the video, and you'll see it on the screen when I'm doing this, into 2 separate signal paths. So I can put 2 different types of overdrive, maybe a clean with a dirty sound, into the double tracker. Now, let's talk about the stereo double tracker and how it works. For all that it's doing, it's actually a very simple pedal to use. Yes, you do have the ability to save presets on here and recall them, which is great. You could also use an expression pedal with it if you want. But if you want to plug in and just get going with it, you have to remember a few things here, and it's very simple. The left side is going to be your primary guitar channel, and then the right side is going to be the secondary or doubled channel. And this essentially is giving you a delay, which you can get a variety of different effects. Sometimes it sounds like a chorus, sometimes it sounds like a slapback, and other times it really just sounds like 2 guitars playing the same thing. So you've got 3 controls here: wet, dry, spread, and detune. And there are also 2 modes to the pedal that you can operate in. In sync mode, the 2 tracks that are going through the pedal and coming out are matched in tune. And if you go into comp mode, they're actually subtly detuned away from each other. And what this does is it dramatically expands the stereo double tracking effect. So experiment with that. And if you're not listening with headphones, put them in, because that's where this thing really shines in stereo mode. From Hotone, we have the Verbera Convolution Reverb Pedal. This is essentially the ultimate reverb pedal. You can do just about anything your heart could desire when it comes to reverb with this, and I'll explain how. At its core, you get essentially 2 sides of the pedal. You've got traditional reverb IRs of actual spaces that they've loaded here in this pedal for you, which are great on their own. But then when you add the other side, so you're running like kind of a dual reverb engine on it, you can start to augment those more traditional spaces with some really, really interesting sounds on the other side. So it's a dual purpose, dual use pedal that gives you reverb sounds you would otherwise not be able to get out of a single pedal. This comes preloaded with 120 reverb IRs, tons of great presets. Yes, you can create your own and save them into the pedal. In addition to that, you can actually take IRs of reverb units or other reverb pedals that you already own and load them into this pedal. So this will become the only reverb pedal you need on your board. A lot of us have a lot of reverb pedals or things that have reverb in them that we really like, but you can take those IRs, capture them with the Verbera, and then bring them with you in addition to all the preloaded incredible reverb sounds that come with this pedal. So on the back of the pedal, you do have a input, you have outputs left and right. You can run it mono if you want. You've got a 9-volt power input as well, and this USB-C jack, which allows you to manage all of your IRs. You can update the firmware in the pedal. Really, really great and kind of future-proof I/O on this pedal. You can also control it with MIDI if you want to. From NUX, we have the Amp Academy Stomp. Now this is an entire rig in a box. We're talking effects, tuner, amp modeling, mic modeling, speaker modeling, you name it. This thing can get it done on a gig for you. And as you know, with units like this, there's a whole variety of ways you could use it. You can add it to an existing pedal board for all of the many effects that exist in this. Like I said, it can be your entire rig, or it can be somewhere in between all of those things. The options are really endless with the NUX Amp Academy. It does come loaded with tons of great presets that get you up and running very quickly, all the classic tones you could possibly think of. But the cool thing about this, it's very intuitive if you've ever used another amp modeler to start building your signal chain in here and figuring out a tone that you like, maybe emulating a actual physical rig or trying to get a sound you like on a track that you want to recreate. It's very, very straightforward and very intuitive. When you get into the menus, moving blocks around, moving effects around, selecting effects, changing parameters, all very simple. And then saving those parameters into new presets or scenes is also very easy. You can really set this up in a million different ways to suit your needs. But the main thing with a pedal like this is that it's so capable and it's very, very, very dense as to what it can do, but it's easy to dive in and start learning it and getting sounds out of it very quickly, which is important when you're dealing with something like this. This is NUX's most advanced processing suite in one of their pedals. You've got 2 sets of DSP chips, essentially. One set is using all of its power to manage your effects. The other is using all of its power to manage the amplifiers and IRs and different simulations that you can pull up in this pedal, so you're not going to bog it down with anything that you throw at it. So in addition to being a full rig in a box, a full multi-effects pedal in a box, this is also an audio interface, and it's also a looper. So again, this covers almost every bass you could possibly cover in the guitar playing world. As far as in and out on the back of this pedal, it does run off of standard 9-volt power, very versatile, easy to incorporate into an existing rig. You have MIDI controls, headphone out, auxiliary in, stereo outputs, you even have an effects loop, and of course an input on this. So again, standalone, great, but it can also be incorporated into your actual rig. So there you have it, our first installment of the pedal roundups that we're gonna be doing as the year closes out here at Premier Guitar. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss anything in the future, specifically the remaining parts of this series where we will feature more pedals. Stay tuned. My name's Tom Butwin, and I will see you in the next one.